So as we speak, we're on the new moon in Aquarius, which precisely is actually hours back in the early morning Eastern time and even earlier on the West Coast. But you can count it today and tomorrow in the sense that the moon remains in Aquarius, which is where the sun is. And the new moon is a point in time or a period in time, let's say, when beginning something, starting something is a really good idea. And then if you focus on where the moon is happening and you can relate it to some part of your chart, you get extra information, meaning where is Aquarius in your own chart? It'll be at one of the signs in the order counting from your ascendant. So for example, if you're Capricorn rising, then Aquarius would be the second sign, and then you have a place of money and resources, personal values. But if, for example, Sagittarius is your rising sign, then it would be the third house, third sign, and so it's a different realm. It's a realm of mind, a realm of day-to-day contacts through your neighbors, a place where you move about in your daily activities. It's different depending on the chart. But even without focusing on that level, for which you would have to know your birthplace, birth time, birthday, to have an actual chart, then you can focus broadly on the meaning of the moon and the idea of doing something that you intend to bring to some level of fruition. And so here's where you realize that the moon, among many things of course, but a key correlation to the moon is the question of habits, our daily habits, what we become comfortable with. And knowing that the moon does act in a polarity with Saturn, because the moon rules Cancer, Saturn rules Capricorn, and so they're at opposite ends. And indeed, what happens is the habit begins at the moon in a kind of soft level, but then it hardens in the Saturn realm, the opposite side. That's what Saturn rules. Saturn rules what is hardest in your body, your teeth, your bones. So psychologically, when a habit becomes really entrenched, it has reached the level of Saturn in that polarity. But the main key, though, is the habit itself. And so here is where you have the opportunity to develop a new habit, for example. Now, you may not be able to achieve this task in one lunar cycle. That may or may not be possible. I'm sure you've seen many directives telling you to try something for 30 days. It's not exactly a lunar cycle, but it's pretty close. And there's some truth to that. If you can keep it up for 30 days, it has pretty good odds of remaining as a habit. But even if it didn't totally stick, you might have to do it for another 2 or 3 more cycles if it was an important enough habit for you. And the main point is you will have established momentum in that direction, which is very powerful. The next thing to realize is that, let's say you start something, you decide you want to do something in a certain way or not do something, because breaking a habit is as valid as creating a habit. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Either way will work. The point being, on the level of fruition, or at least getting a sense of how it's going, how successful you are being in your quest, you look to February 10th, 11th, 12th, when we'll have a full moon in the same sign, meaning the sun will still be in Aquarius, by then the moon is in Leo, so you have the full moon. So that's one level of checking in, and then The next moon happens at the end of the month, meaning February, then it'll be a moon in Pisces, so that'll be the full cycle. And then you can, again, assess how well it's going. Main point, though, new moon and starting something goes hand in hand. It's why, if you look in farmer almanacs where they talk about planting, it's often recommended as the period to plant seeds, although it does depend on the type of vegetable that you're planting and so on. But nevertheless, in a broad sense, that's exactly what the new moon represents. And you are always encouraged to set some direction and see if you can bring it into manifestation within that lunar period.